Hi, I'm Margot with Ecology North, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a little paper craft that you can send to your friends. I know that I had to leave school earlier than I was hoping this year, and so I've really been missing my friends and trying to find a way to connect with the people that I haven't been able to see. So one thing I've been doing is making cards for them and sending them off. And even if I don't have a lot to say, it's just kind of a nice way to let someone know that you're thinking about them. The reason why we're doing wood bison as the theme of this craft is we're working with the Species at Risk program. It's a part of the GNWT, and we're creating resources to help teach people about wood bison. The other reason why wood bison are really fitting is because they actually have to stay socially distant from other herds. I'm going to be telling you a lot about wood bison today, and we can get right into the craft, and I hope that you learned something interesting and new about wood bison. So what you're going to need, some construction paper with lots of different colors. You can use any type of paper for this. The thicker that it is, probably the easier time you're going to have doing this. I also have a glue stick. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, and that's really it that can get you through this project. I have a marker and a pencil just to help me outline before I cut, but if you're feeling adventurous, you don't even need that. The first thing you're going to do is you can pick any color you want to be the outside of the card. I'm going to use this nice light blue because I think it looks kind of like the sky, and I like that. And you can just make the card whatever size you like. For this size paper, I like to fold it in half. So I'm just going to cut it. Okay, so this is the piece of paper I'm going to use for the outside of my card, and I'm going to fold it in half. There we go. So this will be the size of my card. I'm going to make the body of the bison out of this nice brown. I'm going to draw out the body, and it's kind of like a smushed bean. They're these huge animals. They're actually the largest land mammal in all of North America. Males can get up to be 6 feet tall at the hump. And actually one way that you can tell a plains bison apart from a wood bison is that with a plain bison, their hump is right above their shoulder blades, but with a wood bison, it's further up. So if you want, you can do it as an oval, but I like to think it's like a rectangle. And then I'm thinking about his hump right here is like a circle, because their feet aren't stubs. So one way you could do this is you draw out a square. So you have a square and you just draw a line straight through it from one corner to another. And then you cut it in half, and they should both be about the same size. I think I might trace out some hoof pieces like that. Bison have this nice, really big, thick, curly hair on the top of their head, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to make a big circle. You're going to want to put it about halfway down. I know on most animals we would put it above the neck, but because this is a bison, they like to hang their necks down low. Now for the head, I'm going to make this U shape. The tails are a bit darker color. I'm going to use that. I think that looks good. So the next thing we're going to do is add a cape, because yes, these are superhero animals and they wear a cape. I'm just going to draw some big furry shape there. And it goes all over the hump and then stops about halfway through this part of their back. And you can just make it look really hairy if you want, or you can make it smooth like the rest of it. Now I'm going to add some horns. So what you can do for this is actually a few different things depending how old you think your bison is. So when they're young, bison just have these little horns, and then by the time they're a year old, they're kind of sticking straight out of their heads. As they get older, they become a C shape and they curve up to the top of their heads. So you'll actually notice that with the females, their horns are nice and smooth even when they're older, but for the males, they get really cracked and kind of jagged looking. This is because the males butt heads with each other to try to find a mate. You can do whatever you want for this, meaning you can do a C like this and cut it in half if you think your bison's a little younger, or you can make a C for each side of the bison's head. And I I'm gonna do this one. Now, in reality, bison have kind of a darker nose area and big nostrils. If you wanted to make this look more realistic, you could cut out the tip of their nose here with some black paper, but I want mine to have a nice friendly face to greet my friends. Both male and female wood bison get a glorious beard, and we need that. Oh yeah, so I'm just cutting out a nice triangle. That can go under there. Oh, perfect. A really cool thing about their huge heads is that you can see in the winter these paths left by them, because wood bison live in meadows and big fields, and then what they do is they swing their large heads through the snow and use it to clear away all the snow so they can get to the good stuff that's underneath. And this actually really helps the land that they're feeding on, because they're so heavy. Their big feet sink into the soil that they're in, and it's like a farmer's plow, and they just dig it all up and they get the soil ready to accept seeds. When they poop, it has all these seeds and good nutrients to fertilize the soil that they just walked on. So bison are a really good thing to have in our natural environment. So one thing you might not know but would be able to relate to is that the wood bison in Wood Bison National Park contracted some diseases from the plains bison that occupy the park as well. So now, because we have the other populations of wood bison who aren't infected, it's really, really important that they stay separate, or else the disease can spread further. There are some populations of wood bison who don't have as much genetic diversity, and if disease were to come in, they would be a lot more susceptible to the negative effects of that, and their population could decline even more. I want to give him some nice green grass to stand on. So I'm going to take a green piece of paper, and to make it the same size as the bottom of that, all I need to do is fold this into quarters. Great. Try to make it look like grass for the part that you're going to be able to see right there. That's about what it looks like that. Your grass can look however you want it to. Okay. So now I'm going to figure out how far up the page I want the bison to go. And I know it can't go too far up, or when it gets closed, it's going to be over the edge. So I don't want that. So it has to be at least there. And that would mean when it stands up, it would be here. And I like that. That's a good distance. This is the piece I'm going to use to attach it to the back. So I'm going to fold it once, about 1 inch. Now we need to get his feet glued down. So I'll glue this to his feet. Great, so you can see on the front, he's just standing right on top of the grass. So now when you look at it from the back, if he's laying here, that would mean I can just glue this little strip that we left there. And then when he stands up, I can cut off all the extra, put some glue on it. You want to make sure that this part right here is just as high. If the bison is standing up, you want it to be glued level with the back of the card. And it's not really a big problem if it's not perfect. It's not going to make a big difference, but the closer you get, the better it will be. Okay, so now if we close it, whoop, there we go. The glue is going to take a minute to dry, and then it'll be perfect. And as you remember, bison live in these beautiful meadows, so I kind of want to put some more grass in there. Whatever you would like. Okay, so then you just fold it again so that you have this nice patch. Put some glue on there. Where do we want this one to go? Right there, looks good. So bison are mostly grazers. So they really like the nice grassy sedge area. In the summer, they're usually in dry meadows or on the dry edges of wet meadows. And they really like the newly forming sedge, which is that really tall, dry grass that we see. Remember the name wood bison? That's because they also go into wooded areas like little forests. Thank you for following along with me today. I hope that you've learned something about wood bison and that you followed along making this card. If you happen to make one as well, you can share it with me because I would love to see it. You can tag Ecology North on Instagram or Facebook. And wanting to learn more about wood bison or other species at risk within the NWT, you can go to our NWT Science Focus website and you'll find lots of lesson plans, games, activities, crafts, other fun things like this that we've made to help teach you about the species in the NWT. So you can go to nwtsciencefocus.ca. Thank you!